blockbuster sex trafficking trial in federal court in Manhattan. Defense lawyers are now calling witnesses to testify about their experiences with Ghislaine Maxwell, the alleged accomplice of deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. ABC's Aaron Katersky has been following every twist and turn of this trial, and he joins us now with the very latest. First, Aaron, the major question looming over this trial: will Ghislaine Maxwell testify in her own defense? That seems to be pretty risky in a trial like this. What are the pros and cons that the defense is weighing?
Well, certainly she could be persuasive because, as prosecutors have alleged, Terry, she was pretty good at manipulation. She was able, according to the government, to entice all of these minors into Jeffrey Epstein's lurid world. And in fact, that may work in her favor if she were to get on the witness stand and testify in her own defense. Perhaps, as befitting her socialite status from a number of years ago, charm everyone. That's what she did, prosecutors say, for Jeffrey Epstein. She gave him the entree that he needed to spread his money around. And that could be a powerful thing because really, Terry, only Ghislaine Maxwell knows what went on in some of these rooms, and it would be her word against the accusers. And perhaps she's the only one who can properly offer any kind of a defense. On the other hand, as you say, it is risky for a defendant to take the stand in their own defense. It does open them up to certain elements on cross-examination. And so far, we have no indication from the defense attorneys that Ghislaine Maxwell is going to testify. In fact, the defense seems to be moving along at quite a pretty good clip. They've already called several witnesses. And their defense case could be over in fairly short order, maybe a day or two.
And one of the witnesses, Aaron, as you know, we heard from Maxwell's personal assistant, Kimberly Espinoza. What did we learn from her?
She was a really interesting start for the defense, Kenneth, because she was able to give the jury a much different picture of Ghislaine Maxwell than they had heard from the government, where prosecutors called her Jeffrey Epstein's partner in crime. Kimberly Espinoza says that she really respected Ghislaine Maxwell and, in fact, credited her own career as an executive assistant in the business world to her time working with Ghislaine Maxwell, learning how to handle a number of things at once under tight time pressure deadlines. And crucially for the defense, she also testified that in the 6 years she worked for Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, she never saw any indication that either of them was doing anything untoward with minor girls. On a very quick cross-examination, though, she conceded that she only worked in Jeffrey Epstein's office, not in his houses, where the accusers say their abuse took place.
Mm-hmm. And, Aaron, I wanted to ask you about one unusual request from the defense to call to the witness stand the lawyers for several of the women who testified as Maxwell's accusers. In other words, they want the lawyers of the women who are the alleged victims in this case. So what are the grounds for that? What does the defense want to get from that testimony?
Yeah, it's all meant to bolster the defense assertion that these women are out for money, that they have a financial motive, that they didn't even remember meeting Ghislaine Maxwell until civil attorneys in a greedy plaintiff's bar started poking around and tried to concoct this whole story about Ghislaine Maxwell once it was apparent that Jeffrey Epstein was dead and was not going to be prosecuted. And so to help bolster that claim, the defense wants to call a number of civil attorneys who represent the accusers in this case. And the judge is not going to allow most of it. She's allowing one civil attorney to testify, and on very narrow grounds. But the defense is trying to make its claim that the accusers have misremembered their encounters with Maxwell or are twisting them to fit the narrative that's being pushed by others. Today on the witness stand, a professor from the University of California at Irvine who's an expert in the frailty of memory. And she's talking about how over time memories can not only lapse, but can be influenced with the interjection of some false information.
Wow, fascinating. And Aaron, who else are we expecting to hear from here during this trial? And where does this case go from here?
Well, it seems like the defense, Kenneth, is moving on. After the expert is finished from the University of California at Irvine, we expect next number of Customs and Border Protection agents. They'll be talking, we think, about the movements, perhaps, of some of the accusers in and out of the country to see if they comport with the actual testimony of those accusers. And from there, we're not quite sure how the defense is going to end. I guess there's always the possibility Maxwell could testify, but otherwise, this seems like it could be headed for the jury as soon as the early part of next week.
And that would be fast, and as you say, risky for Ghislaine Maxwell to take the stand. Aaron Katersky, you've been on this case from the start. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Terry.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.